Hello, everyone. All of you who want more magic, joy, and sparkles in your life and your business, I have a thought leader conversation for you with a colleague who has also followed her heart in her life in really bold, brazen ways, and who has been creating not only her dream life, but also her dream business again and again, and creating some really awesome things from her heart and her passion. And so have I with my book. And we're creating all these amazing things and really living life sparkling. And so I'm having a conversation here for you where I will speak with this lady that I'll introduce in a second. And we will also speak about my book, and we'll have a cool inspirational conversation for you with real life stories of how we did that, how we made our life more awesome. And the specific particular topic is permission to claim pure freedom in life and in business and making it more magical. So I want to welcome here Anna Frolik. Welcome, Anna, you're in Canada at the moment. Is that right?
I am.
Yes,
Thank you so
yes.
much for having me.
You're welcome. And I'm going to introduce you officially so everybody can meet you and see who I have here. So Anna Frolik is an intuitive guide, healer, channel, inspirational author. Yes, she is a mentor and the founder of Wonderland Publishing. So talking about bringing magic into your lives and creating magic is so much fun and awesome. So about 10 years ago, Anna took a leap that changed her life forever. She left behind everything she knew to find everything her heart had always wanted. I love how you described that, Anna. So great. Yeah, we're going to have some great stories about that. I have some too. So with Anna's work, she seeks to inspire and empower her fellow humans to follow their boldest dreams and create the abundant, joyful, and freedom-filled life they were born to live, preferably by sharing the wisdom and knowledge gained on her own journey through her cards, courses, and other products. And she's also available for private mentoring and intuitive readings. So, official welcome, Anna. I'm so happy to have you. Greetings to Canada from Alaska.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. So we've known each other for years. And one thing that just came through again before we go into more detail of the topic is that we have something in common. We were both born in Switzerland. I totally forgotten that you were too. We both left everything behind entirely to follow our heart into the unknown. You ended up moving to Canada, and I ended up moving to Alaska. So what a cool conversation we're going to have to go more in depth with that, and how that changed your life and all of that goodness. So what I want to start with is giving a highlight of this chapter of my book, which we're doing here. I'm going to show this real quick and add this to the stream. So here's my book, Permission to Sparkle. Here we go. And that's one of the chapters is actually permission to claim pure freedom in life and in business. And I want to read just the beginning of the chapter so that everybody can get a sense of it and you can open your mind to making that happen for yourself. So, permission to claim pure freedom, how this chapter helps. Just when you think you're all sparkly and smooth sailing along, the universe can surprise you with a turbulent sea, which then also turns out to be perfect because everything serves. Even and often, especially, big waves can help us grow and reach our next level of sparkle. And that actually happened for me with my cancer journey. Yeah. Okay. And then reading on, this chapter is a real-time account of me role modeling how you can ride the big wave without drowning, and even while actually sparkling. And that's the big thing. Like, we can actually sparkle through any life adventure, which has been an amazing superpower I discovered for myself, and which I am actually inspiring people to do at any time, also with things that you find in the book. So this chapter is also about staying in curiosity, allowing new big things to emerge while you keep riding the wave and looking at everything without judgment. So that in and of itself has been a huge way for me to navigate, to not let anything, like no matter how harsh and crazy and scary things would seem, to look at things with curiosity. Then you can see behind the fear and you can let the fears go. So there's already a super tool that you can use to shift into curiosity. Anna, I'm curious to give the ball to you. With your story, tell us a bit more, and feel free to add anything to my introduction of where you're at now. And what was that story where you claimed pure freedom and left everything behind? What happened for you there? Let's just start there.
Yes, let's just start there. So, I mean, it's really been a journey, a long journey, I think, that continues until today. But that's where it really all started. I just briefly shared a little bit with you before we started talking. Um, and I would say it really started about 13 years ago when I started my first business. Back then, I was still in the corporate world, and I was a copywriter, content editor, and I took what I knew from corporate, turned that into my own business, which is something that I had wanted to do for quite a long time already. And I mean, probably already when I was in high school, I think I already knew that I wanted to be a business owner someday. And but that was really just the first step, and I realized quite quickly, let's say. So, everything went really well, and the universe supported me fully, and I had clients right away. Actually, my employer became my first client.
Nice.
And so um, my business grew really quickly and successfully. But about a year into my business, I really started hitting a wall where I realized that like something was missing. And um, I had just returned from a trip to Iceland,
Mhm.
and that was just such a magical experience. And then coming home from that magical place just felt like, in a way, just going back into prison or something like that.
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah.
and it was like, oh, I feel like, I have this successful business, but something just feels off. And
Mhm.
like I felt so much resistance to continuing to move forward in the same way, and I started exploring different options. Initially, I just thought that um, maybe I just wanted more time freedom and not all the
Mhm.
deadlines, that you definitely have in the corporate world, especially in advertising. Um, and so I started exploring some options. And one afternoon, I was sitting on my balcony brainstorming ideas for an ebook that I wanted to write, and then this topic of angels just came through all of a
Wow.
sudden,
Mhm.
and that had been an interest of mine for a long time as well. And so it's a long story, but all of a sudden that just started very naturally turning into a totally new career direction. And I started, I mean, working with the angels professionally as a healer and a
Wow.
reader. And then so many things followed after that. So the thing that I was sharing earlier was just when I like basically totally gave myself permission to just leave behind everything that was weighing me down in any way. That
Wow.
included a relationship and also the place where I was living. And I just wanted to be completely free to travel. And so I gave up everything, like all my belongings, except for anything that I could fit in my suitcase and carry-on bag, and started a completely new life. It was just a journey into the
Um,
unknown, and
wow.
that's how I eventually ended up back here in Canada. But um,
Whoa.
yeah, so that's about as short as I can keep it for a start.
Well, there's
Uh,
so much. So you
mm,
literally changed everything in your life. You
mm,
stepped into a new paradigm, it seems like from the human rational corporate, um, entrepreneurial, spiritual, and a new location, following your heart, leaving everything behind. That's a lot. So you
Mm.
literally role modeled that stepping into pure freedom too. I want people to see your one of your products that you have now that actually helps people to do that. You have this journal that helps you also step into curiosity. Why don't you show that, please? And I got that one too.
Here
Yes,
it is.
manifest
You
your
got
dream
it.
book and journal. So tell us, how did that come to be? Because I feel that includes some play prompts that helped you along the way to actually give yourself permission to make that happen, right? Is that,
Mm.
tell us more.
Yeah, so I'd say in retrospect, this really sums up all the things, the key things that I did on this journey to totally set myself free, even though back then I didn't have a script or, I mean, I just all did it all very intuitively. But this is really the process that I've developed over a period of, I mean, the past 10 years or so. Um, and it used to be my signature coaching program too, which is getting a makeover at this time. But this is kind of what I had been envisioning for a long time, like
Mhm.
really a way to put it into a product that's easy to understand and fun, and it's
Yeah.
easy to implement as well, which I think on this manifesting journey. A lot of people struggle with that. You know, we have all the ideas of mindset and
Mhm.
affirmations and all the things that we need to do to manifest our dreams. But how do we actually implement it on a very practical
Yeah.
level? So this book contains all of that, and so it's very action oriented too. And it's I know you have it. um,
Yes, I do. I want it too.
Mm.
Yes.
I
Beautiful.
mean, it's full of journaling prompts and
Mhm.
just, really helping you get in touch with your desires and,
Yes.
like, what I call your true desires that's beyond just what you're conditioned to want, and, I mean, we have all
Yes.
those layers, and then the very practical steps to, like,
Yes.
create freedom on all levels, and then the magic just happens.
I love it. So how do you feel like, and I want to share like a play prompt from your book with everybody in a minute, and I'll share a play prompt from my book also, and we can see how we can inspire people to claim their own pure freedom with tangible steps. But before we do that, I'm curious, what if you had would have had that book at that journey that you were in, leaving everything behind, in what ways do you feel it would have helped you and made your journey different?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I'm glad I did it the way I did it. I think I really needed to go through this process without
Mhm.
a plan in my head, and I think that's exactly what helped me at that time to just move forward, the way I wanted to and needed to. But I think now, I'm also working with this book now, and what I see is it definitely speeds things up,
Mhm.
when I, know exactly what I need to focus on and the exact sequence that makes the most sense, and
Yeah.
but it's not just that, you keep I mean, basically, it gives you tools that you can keep applying over and over again, so it's not just like a straight line, um, but I feel it's a guide that really helps you get in touch with the parts of yourself that you may have been hiding, or especially, I
Nice.
mean, a lot of us, I think especially women, are really good at suppressing our true desires, and so this is really a companion that will encourage you to be honest with yourself and other people as well, and just break free from, I think, from the idea that, we have to do so many more things and
Mhm.
before we're actually ready to embrace all that freedom and our true dreams and desires. I think that was like the biggest thing that was holding me back for, I mean, many years before I took that big leap. So I think getting back to permission to claim pure freedom, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. I think if I had had a book like that, I think I would have probably um, taken those steps sooner and not
Mhm.
worried so much about, all the things that do come up that tend to hold us back.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, that's parallel to my book also, where so I like the thing that you just mentioned, that you worried more, and like you spent time, and yes, it all served. I love that you're also not judging it, because it brought you to such awareness, and like now giving back and sharing with others what helped you, and you found like a faster, like you found your superpowers, your desire, and a faster way of doing things. So not everybody has to go through that long journey. But I think it's a cute, not cute. It's an awesome example of that when we have challenges, that and we go through them and embrace them, that we always discover more magic about ourselves when we're curious, because you discovered like superpowers of what you are now teaching and like bringing to the world, right? And it was like your journey helped you to get there. And the same thing with my book also. Person to Sparkle, it's the same thing. I wrote that in real time actually, and found tools and sharing tools in there of how I went through these things while sparkling as much as I could, and also embracing the challenging parts. Right, like sparkling to me doesn't mean that we're having a fake smile on all the time. On the contrary, it's about that authenticity that you're mentioning also, of being honest with ourselves, and like what that leads to true sparkle. So I'm going to invite you to open your book somewhere, either intuitively or picking something for a tool that you would love to share, that will help people to claim pure freedom in life and in business. And I have the chapter here, but I'm going to intuitively pick something to read from there, and I want to find the chapter ending, and then I will close my eyes and pick something. Okay, let's see. Top right. Okay, cool. I'm ready. Do you have something you want to
Okay,
share?
I'll just open it randomly. Okay. Okay, so this is a good one. A really cool story around this one too. So this is the first chapter in my book, which is all about getting in touch with your true desires and visualizing your new life. Basically, you get to write the script for the new life that you're creating,
Yes.
and it's divided into different topics. I opened it at my ideal day. So, what does your perfect day look like? And just get to describe basically the most amazing day that you could ever imagine if you had the choice and the freedom to just create your day exactly the way it feels the most amazing to you every single day. Um, what would you do? And this prompt actually came to me based on something I did, I think back in, was it 20, it was probably in 2010. So when I was in that process of connecting with my purpose, and um, it started with a bit of a chaotic situation as well. I remember, I think my internet broke down, and then I just had a lot of time to reflect, maybe for about a week. It took quite a long time for them to fix it. And so I just had some time to reflect. And then at the end of that week, I just felt that I really needed to tell all my clients that I was going to take a few weeks off. I wasn't going to be available. And I pretty much did that immediately.
Nice.
And what I did with my time there was, so I took my time off. I was completely off email and social media.
Nice.
And
That's
so
that's a
then
bold
that's
move.
every single day. Back then, the one thing that I really wanted to do every single day was working with angels. So that's
Oh
just
wow.
all day, and I got really creative, and that was really the start of this new chapter. So it was intuitive in a lot of ways. It just kind of unfolded, but at the same time, I gave myself permission to really I mean, just fully step into it right away, not just, kind of imagine or or wish for it, but this is the life that I want to live, and that's how it all started, and everything else unfolded from there. So
I
that's
love it. That is so great. Oh my gosh. I love that okay, that's a great prompt. What your most amazing day would look like. To journal that. And then I love your story that you actually did that for yourself. And so what I hear you say is that you realized, because the universe gave you the space already, you took a moment to pause.
Mhm.
No internet. You're like, what does my most amazing day look like? And then you got the intuitive hit that you would like to work with angels and explore that. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I think the idea was already there before, but then I just decided, okay, now is the time to just
Mhm.
fully step into it,
Nice.
and that was such a powerful thing to do. Mm.
Yes, you took your
Mm.
inspiration, your intuition, and followed your heart and didn't wait and just did it. That's so great.
Mm.
3
And
weeks
I
of doing
never looked
it.
back. I mean, that was really, and then I just continued on this journey from that point forward.
Amazing,
Mm.
so powerful. And I have a story for that too. So for me, one of the things that happened, one time I got the inspiration also from the universe, spirit, however you want to see it. It actually came through a colleague, a coaching colleague of mine. We were doing a session of sorts where she relayed messages to me from the universe, and the inspiration was that I should start playing with colors. And then do that with a client in the room and just draw and see what happens.
Mm.
And I had no idea what that would mean. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is wild. But I did it. I did it like the same day. I took the colors and I just told a client, like, okay, this might seem weird. I don't know what I'm doing, but I got the inspiration to draw while we're talking. And then apparently it's supposed to mean something. Are you cool with that? And the client was like, sure, go ahead. And I just did that without, like, literally not following any rational steps on that. And I did that, and it was like this. It was an intuitive drawing that had like shapes and two colors and whatever. And I asked her, like, okay, so does this mean something to you? It was kind of funny for me at the time, and she actually got some deep messages out of it. She's like, oh yeah, that means this, and that totally represents this energy, and I'm actually inspired to something by this, right? And so
Mm.
for me, the what happened with that, by following that intuition without knowing, into the unknown, it led me to one of my superpowers now, which is the alchemy of design is one of my programs, and alchemy of design is a thing that I do for clarity and helping people access their higher magical wisdom through art. So it is by taking those inspired actions that we get more down our soul path and find more of our inner brilliance. And it can take freaking courage, because it might make no sense. We might have to, we might be scared to look ridiculous. It's like what I did, right? It's like, or yeah, I can imagine like you going from corporate to wanting to work with angels. Like you probably had some mindset things that you had to like leave behind, or fears, right? Like how did that look like for
Mm.
you? How did you overcome those?
Oh, that was a process of many, many years, I would say. I mean, there were so many things. There was definitely, I mean, the fear of being judged. I think that
Mhm.
that's one that comes up for a lot of people on this journey. Also, a lot of mindset things around, um, making a living off of the things that I'm
Yeah.
passionate about, but
Yes.
especially in the spiritual field.
Yep.
So that was definitely a journey of many years, just really doing the mindset work and the healing work around that. Um, and it's led me to a really beautiful place. I mean,
Yes.
that's basically where I am now. So,
Yes.
mm,
Yes, yes, yes.
mm,
Ah, so 2 things. I have a play prompt that I wanna share real quick, because I
mm,
also pointed my finger at the book, and then I want you to share where you're at now in your life,
mm,
what you just hinted at, just,
mm,
like, comparing with back then, like, what are you celebrating now? Because you did, um, give yourself permission to claim pure freedom. Like you did land in a different spot. So I'll let you think about that. So here I landed on this spot here, and you get to get a glimpse in my book too. It's a very playful book with play prompts to help you create your sparkle life. This doesn't have to be heavy. On the contrary, I believe when it feels heavy, like we're not in our zone of genius, and magic happens when we use playfulness. That gives us also courage to sail through really challenging challenges. So I landed on a highlighted quote that says, "Remember, you are always supported. Yes, there is divine support, and helpers and resources will always, always show up." That's what I landed on. And yeah, that really helped me going through my super wild challenges. So like the permission to claim pure freedom, like one of my stories here in the book, when I wrote this, I think the story was, I've had several of those, but it was that I was married, and I realized that, oh my gosh, I met another soulmate, and what does this mean? And like, what if I want to, am I giving myself permission to love more than one man at the same time? What would that mean? It was like really challenging questions I ended up asking myself to really get to the core of my pure desires and what I really wanted and what would really make me happy. And it was interesting, like I found a lot of voices that I had to let go, and that helped me to free myself to make my own choices without bias of like what it should look like or whatever. So yeah, so anyway, that's an intense chapter, but it really shakes up any limiting beliefs that you have, because that's what happens when we literally radically follow our hearts. We will, but when we do that with compassion and curiosity, we get to catch mind stories of anything that holds us in the way, holds us up, and we get to keep walking forward, and we're always supported. So Anna, what does your life look like now compared to back then, because you gave yourself that permission? What would you say?
Okay, I mean, there's a lot I could share here, and the first thing I could say is that I'm definitely in a period of transition as well right now that in a lot of ways reminds me very much of what I went through back then.
Back then, yes.
But I am getting to do it with a lot more awareness and experience. But it's still very much just the beginning of a transformation. I don't even know exactly what's going to happen on the other side of it. So I can't really share too much about that yet. But the first thing that came to mind, though, when you were kind of getting started with this this topic just a couple minutes ago, I mean, it's been a long journey, but I feel in the past several years I've really been integrating a lot of pieces of myself and things that I've explored in the past 10 to 12 years. And so in the past 3 years or so, I've been mostly supporting other spiritual creators and entrepreneurs on their journeys of creating and publishing their own oracle card decks.
Yeah.
And
Show us some. Give us a glimpse.
Okay. So I guess the ones that I have right here are my own. This is one of my own. Oh, where is it?
Yes.
So
Yes,
this one's going to be, so this is the prototype, but it's going to be, there's going to be a new version of this one too.
So beautiful.
And then the magical heart healing cards, you may have seen these before.
So that was all under the umbrella of your Wonderland Publishing business that came out of following your heart, right? Like,
yeah. So this was my first deck. I actually created this. I think I started in 2012, so that was a long time ago. But it's still my favorite. Still everyone's favorite, I think. But yeah, I think the point is that I'm in a place now where I can do all the things that I want to do. It's been a really great way to combine the creative aspects of what I'm really passionate about with also the spiritual aspects. And again, it's transforming as well. I think the way I'm going to be working with clients is definitely, I can just feel it right now. Like it needs to shift, but again, I can't really share too much about that
Yeah, no,
yet.
that's fine. Yeah.
Um, but that's been my journey for the past several years, and I'm really, I think that's something I really struggled with for a long time, being so multi-passionate and finding ways to bring everything together in a way that actually works,
Yeah.
and without getting so distracted and being pulled in different directions, and then not really getting anywhere because nothing
Mhm.
really totally fits together. So that's been part of my healing journey, and like really a process of integration, but also liberation in that sense, because I'm free to do all the things that I want to do. I can have multiple streams of income
Yeah.
and still be focused and not get
Mhm.
so distracted by, oh, yeah, another idea.
Yes, yes, yes.
All myself. Ultimately, that's the whole
Yes.
point.
I love it so much. So to sum it up, the way I hear you say it,
Mm,
um, and I can also underline that from my personal experience
mm,
is that you step more into your own magic, into expressing and
mm,
living your desires, into creating your own dream business. In a location that you wanted to live in, you
mm,
actually moved continents and stuff. So you lived a more fulfilling life because you didn't allow yourself to prohibit yourself from from leaving where it didn't feel right anymore, right? So,
mm,
and I experienced that also, like that it was like this compelling heart desire to do something, and if I hadn't done that, like if I hadn't left Switzerland, like I didn't feel at home there anymore. I
mm,
had this heart calling, and it didn't make any rational sense. It was like, I feel I need to move to the US. It feels like freedom. I can't fully explain it, but I got to do it. um, and then,
mm,
yeah, every time I felt that hard call, then taking that leap has also brought me to more and more magic and to discover more and more of my magic. And one thing I also want to reflect, and that is from my superpowers that I discovered, is you mentioned this thing as creatives that we have all these so many ideas, right? And we have so many superpowers and talents, and we can create so many things. And it can get overwhelming as to like, well, what does this mean about us? Like, what is my magic, and how do I make a business out of this? And so, what happened for me is one of my superpowers is actually brand strategy and finding that clarity. Like I used to do that just rationally before
mm,
I went into the spiritual journey and coaching and all that stuff. And what happened for me, it now all came together. It's like you're saying too, as we
mm,
follow our journey, suddenly things make sense. And one of my superpowers that I discovered is that now I can help people actually take all those different things, and I see their potential and like help them get clear and landed like in like spiritually and also tangibly in a business. So I can help people do the fast track with that. Yeah, so we're bringing more magic to the world because we gave ourselves permission to pure freedom. And so if you are watching this and you also want to, you feel this urge to change something in your life, to make something bigger, different, and it feels scary somehow. First of all, know that you can do this. We've done this without knowing all the details, and allow yourself to be supported. So you have cool Anna Frolik here, who has this cool journal, and she's just a cool person and super magical person connected with fairies and all kinds of things. So you find her on wonderlandpublishing.net and annafrolik.com if you feel inspired to connect with her and find out more what she does and how she might support you on your journey and your business. Reach out. And for me, I have all kinds of sparkly things on my website that can wait for you to help you make your life or your business or both more sparkly and take that to the next level in a big, bolder way. I have my book that you can get access to there. And I have cool programs and clubs and also free support group and stuff like that. So if you're ready for more magic and more freedom and actually live that and follow wherever your heart leads you to Anna Frolik or me, and yeah, or wherever else, right? Like just following the heart is like the main thing. Anna, what's the last thing that you would love to give as an advice to anybody who wants more magic in their life?
I think to sum things up, and I already kind of touched on this earlier, but permission needs to come from within you. I think that's a really big one that was actually holding me back for a long time. I was kind of, waiting for the right circumstances or kind of looking for permission outside of myself. And I came to the conclusion eventually that it's not going to happen if I keep waiting. So you just got to do it. And that's when the magic happens, and the support really is there in big ways. I mean, you mentioned this earlier, and it's been exactly my experience too. Like when you take the leap, the net appears. That's what a lot of people say, but I just feel like, there are angels all around and there to catch you. So
yes, it is so
really,
true.
really
And
works.
thank you for bringing it to my book title. Because that is literally like giving ourselves permission. And that title that got channeled to a coach colleague, I didn't even come up with that title. She was like, Permission to Sparkle. That's supposed to be a title that needs to get to the world. And I meant to write this book. And it was the same thing for me. It's like when we don't give ourselves permission, whatever we give ourselves permission to, we allow to happen. We start, we hold ourselves, we're our biggest hold up. I totally, yeah, I signed that. And I have super quick story because we're already like over time, but tangibly, I didn't give myself permission to sing for almost my entire life. I had this dream of singing in a band, and for so many times I started a little bit here and there. Oh, can I do background or did I not? And I had some bad experience, and then I didn't dare, and then I was waiting for others to make it happen or to see me. But I was hiding. How are supposed to see you if you're hiding? And then at some point, last year I turned 50, and I literally did like this thing where I'm like, okay, if I'm not gonna make this happen, nobody's gonna make this happen. I actually want to sing in a band, and I want it to be my band, and I want to be the lead singer, and I'm gonna do this. And so and so I did. I put it out there on Facebook. I started a band. It's happening. It's here in Palmer. We're actually this week we're having our first radio show that will be online. And we're going to have first gigs this summer, and I have a second band in the making that just started happening because I started following that, and it's bringing me so much joy. And the cool thing is, it actually also ties into my business because I'm fully expressing myself. So, yeah, it's one example. Give yourself permission to sparkle. Okay. Thank you so much, Anna, for having been here. I super appreciate you and your stories, and I can't wait to see what else you're going to bring to the planet in goodness. And yeah, and cheers to everybody watching. Follow your heart, and I wish you a magical life and business. It's all possible. It's for you to give yourself permission. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much.
You're
It's
welcome.
good to
Thank
be
you
here.
so much.